Nobody expected this, not the city officials, not the media, not even the families who lost everything. Because while politicians gave speeches and billionaires posted empty prayers, Kendrick Lamar was doing something else entirely. Silently, without a single Instagram post, without alerting a single camera, without saying a single word. Kendrick Lamar wired $7 million of his own money directly to local shelters, churches, and recovery programs in Texas after the catastrophic floods that displaced over 80,000 people. No press release, no interviews, just quiet action. And what broke the internet and the world's heart wasn't just the money. It was the note that came with it. A simple handwritten message that leaked just hours ago and has people in tears around the world. A message that read, "I remember what it's like to drown in silence. Y'all ain't alone." KL, now the world is scrambling to understand. Why did Kendrick do this? In secret? Why now? And how did this gesture, this silent act of love, end up making the world break down in tears? Before we dive into the emotional avalanche Kendrick triggered with a silent $7 million gift, let's rewind the story, because this wasn't just generosity. This was deep, personal, painful, and it may have been building in Kendrick's heart for years. Let's go back to early May, when the floods hit Texas harder than anyone could have imagined. Torrential rain swallowed homes, schools, and lives. Entire neighborhoods from Houston to Port Arthur were left underwater. Families were stranded on rooftops. Babies were being passed to strangers in boats. People were sobbing on live TV as they lost everything. It was one of the worst disasters Texas had faced in recent memory. And while most celebrities stayed silent or posted generic pray for Texas tweets, Kendrick Lamar didn't say a single word. Not one. Fans noticed. They asked, why hasn't Kendrick said anything? Where's K. This is the kind of thing he always speaks on. But what they didn't know is that Kendrick was already moving, quietly, deliberately, strategically. Because, for Kendrick, this wasn't about optics. It was about a wound he's carried quietly since childhood. Let's talk about that. Very few people know that Kendrick Lamar has extended family in Port Arthur, Texas, a small Gulf Coast town that's often forgotten during national disasters. His late cousin, Darnell, lived there. Darnell was like a big brother to Kendrick when he visited during summers, according to insiders. Darnell died in the aftermath of Hurricane Harvey in 2017, not because of the storm itself, but because emergency services never reached him in time. That death changed Kendrick. He didn't speak about it publicly. He didn't write a song. But friends say he became obsessed with doing something for the forgotten people. And when this year's flood struck Texas again, in nearly the exact same region, Kendrick reportedly went completely dark. No texts, no calls, just silence. Then, 48 hours later, his team began sending quiet inquiries to local aid organizations who needed money, which shelters were overwhelmed, were there families who weren't getting help. One aid worker in Houston shared, "We got this anonymous donation, no sender name, just a wire for $250,000. Then another, then another. They just kept coming, no fanfare, no press, just help." But the truth came out anyway, not because Kendrick revealed it, but because a janitor at a shelter found the letter. The now viral handwritten note that read, "I remember what it's like to drown in silence. Y'all ain't alone." KL, the moment that note hit Twitter, everything changed. People started putting the pieces together. Multiple aid centers confirmed receiving anonymous donations that added up to $7 million. The handwriting on the note matched Kendrick's past autographs. And finally, a trusted insider leaked that Kendrick's team confirmed the donations off the record, but requested no public recognition. Why? Because Kendrick didn't want the story to be about him. He wanted it to be about the people. Ones who, like Darnell, never make it into headlines. But the public couldn't ignore it. They were moved. Fans flooded social media with tears, love, and heartbreak. This man gave more than billionaires and didn't say a word. Kendrick, I'm sobbing. You are what real humanity looks like. T'll never listen to All Right the same way again. Even celebrities started speaking out. Chance the Rapper tweeted, 7 million. In silence, Kendrick is a giant among men. SZA posted a crying emoji and just wrote, he really did that. J. Cole, Kendrick's longtime friend and rumored collaborator, wrote, you can't fake soul. That man's got rivers inside him. This is only the beginning, because what we're about to reveal next is the moment everything changed. It's the exact scene where Kendrick quietly arrived in Texas, unannounced, and came face to face with a survivor who recognized him but didn't tell a soul until days later. And what happened in that room left grown men in tears. What happened next isn't just emotional, it's haunting, because while the world was scrambling to understand the sudden $7 million donation and the heartbreaking handwritten note, Kendrick Lamar was already there. In Texas, not in a limo, not with security, not for clout. He pulled up in a rented gray Honda Accord, hoodie on, mask up, quietly walking into one of the most overcrowded relief shelters in South Houston. No cameras, no entourage, just Kendrick. Alone, and only one person recognized him. That person, Mariah C., a 19-year-old survivor who lost her home, her baby photos, and her grandmother, all in the span of 36 hours. Her TikTok, which now has over 6.3 million views, details the surreal encounter that changed her life forever. Here's what she said. I was sitting on a cot, crying quietly. I felt broken. That's when this man came over and sat on the floor. Across from me, he didn't say his name. He just said, you surviving is strength. You're still here. I looked up, and I knew it was Kendrick. But I didn't say anything. I just nodded, and I cried harder. He reached into his pocket and handed me a gift card for $2,000. Then he said, buy what matters, not what's left. Then he walked out. That clip went viral, fast. People were shook, not just because Kendrick was literally there, boots on the ground, but because he never wanted anyone to know. But let's rewind, because there's a twist coming, and it's major. 3 days before this shelter visit, Kendrick reportedly had a fight with his own team. Sources close to his circle say he clashed with a top advisor who told him, you should release a statement. Let people know what you're doing. It'll inspire donations. But Kendrick refused. Point blank. I'm not here to inspire hashtags, he reportedly said. I'm here to move in silence and honor the ones who couldn't speak. And it gets deeper, because one of those ones who couldn't speak was his cousin Darnell, who we now know was denied shelter during Hurricane Harvey because he wasn't injured enough to be prioritized. He died 3 days later from a seizure brought on by dehydration and trauma. That's the pain Kendrick's been carrying. That's the real reason behind the $1.10 million. And what triggered him this time? Was it the floods? The deaths? The silence? Oh, Johnny, it was a viral clip from a Fox News broadcast where a city official said, we're doing everything we can. But we can't help everyone. That sentence broke Kendrick, because he'd heard it before. It was the same line a FEMA rep gave his family back in 2017, hours before Darnell passed, so Kendrick packed a bag, booked a flight, and quietly moved. The way only someone with deep rage and quiet love can move. But here's where the twist comes in. According to a leaked voice note sent from someone inside the artist's camp, Kendrick didn't just send money and supplies. He tried to donate anonymously to a government recovery program, and they rejected it. Yes, you heard right. Kendrick Lamar tried to donate $1 million directly to a Texas city-run recovery fund, and they turned him down. Why? Because they didn't want the political attention it might bring if it leaked. That a hip-hop artist was funding more than the state itself. Let that sink in. They didn't want the money, because it would make them look bad. Now fans are fuming. Memes, threads, and callouts are flying all over X. Texas turned down Kendrick's money, but gave tax breaks to billionaires. Make it make sense. Kendrick gives $7 million, and y'all? Still talking about respectable donors. He is the blueprint. This is why he moves in silence, because when he speaks, y'all silence him. Even other celebs are speaking up. Meek Mill tweeted, "If I donated $1 million and got rejected, I'd be blasting everybody." Kendrick, different FR. Doja Cat on her IG story. This is why he's the no IG, no drama, just help. But the pressure was building, because now fans wanted answers. Why would any government office reject such a powerful gesture? That's when screenshots leaked from internal city emails, allegedly from a Houston councilman, showing subject lines like, "Potential PR fallout from anonymous hip-hop donation, do not release donor name." Political optics, dangerous. Watch chilling. They KNEW. It was Kendrick, and instead of embracing the help, they feared his truth, his voice, his presence. But Kendrick didn't speak out. He didn't rage tweet. He didn't clap back in interviews. Instead, he gave more. He rerouted that $1 million to underground mutual aid networks, small local orgs helping undocumented families, disabled survivors, and single moms. And he added another handwritten note. Sometimes your name don't belong on the wall. It belongs in the shadows, doing real work. KL, this is the Kendrick people didn't expect. Not just the rapper, not the Pulitzer-winning poet, but the silent architect of hope, working behind the curtains while the world just watched. But this story isn't done yet, because someone very powerful is trying to bury this entire thing. This is where things get dark. Because as Kendrick Lamar's silent $7 million gift spread across social media like wildfire, touching hearts, inspiring hope, something chilling was happening behind the scenes. Major media outlets began pulling the story. You heard that right. One moment. There were heartwarming headlines. Kendrick Lamar's secret support for Texas flood victims inspires millions. The rapper who gave silently while others talked loud. And then, silence. Tweets deleted. Articles unpublished. YouTube coverage demonetized. Influencers reporting mysterious takedowns. Fans started noticing. Why did CNN remove the Kendrick piece? I shared that ABC News story. Now the link says 404 error. What started as admiration quickly turned into confusion. And confusion turned into suspicion, because it wasn't just one network. It was all of them. NBC, Fox, Bet. Complex, even grassroots blogs were suddenly unable to comment. One Twitter user leaked a screenshot from a writer who claimed, "We were told to drop the Kendrick Texas donation angle." Higher-ups said, "Don't make it political. I've never seen anything like it." And Johnny, it gets deeper. A leaked email chain surfaced between two TV execs. One of them, allegedly tied to a major streaming network, wrote, "If we give Kendrick this platform, it could set a precedent. Others might expect real support during disasters. That's not sustainable." What? This wasn't about journalism. This was about control, because Kendrick's quiet move did something terrifying to powerful people. It embarrassed them. He showed up where they didn't. He gave without asking for credit. And worst of all, he made them look useless. So who exactly is behind the suppression? According to insider leaks, it's not just one person. It's a network of PR firms. and crisis managers representing Texas state officials' billion-dollar donors. Competing, entertainers with upcoming charity campaigns. That's right. Some celebs are reportedly furious that Kendrick's quiet act overshadowed their branded donation drives. One leaked PR memo reads, Lamar's unannounced contribution undermines existing celebrity-led relief campaigns and may distract from scheduled charity spotlights. Yes, you read that right. They're mad because Kendrick helped too early, too quietly, too purely. And then came the most shocking twist yet. A source from inside a major artist management firm revealed that a group of A-list stars, some who've worked with Kendrick, joined a private Zoom call to discuss damage control. On the alleged guest list, a platinum-selling rapper with a history of philanthropy. Actress turned activist, known for storm coverage, billionaire mogul, who had pledged support but hadn't yet donated. What was discussed on that call? Silencing the noise, recentering attention on their campaigns. One phrase allegedly used during the call: let the Kendrick thing fade. We have our rollout next week. Sickening, but not everyone in the industry is staying silent. Ty Dolla $IG posted a cryptic IG story. If they scared of one man helping, imagine what we all could do. Issa Rae tweeted, funny how stories disappear when they expose the wrong people. And then came a shocker from inside the music world. A prominent hip-hop producer known only as RJ leaked a DM Kendrick allegedly sent just last week. They don't want the truth shared. Let them panic. I ain't moved by spotlights. I move for the people. Phew. That says it all. Still, the industry isn't done. There are rumors swirling that Kendrick's future projects could be blackballed from playlist placements, award nominations, and press coverage unless he plays ball with the media. But Kendrick, he's not biting. In fact, the only update his team made was this: a black and white post on his official site, titled, Do for the Soul, Not for the Scroll. Meanwhile, Twitter is erupting. The fans are not backing down. #JS trending worldwide. Hashtag let Kendrick be heard. #7 million silence. #flood of truth. #do it like KDOT viral. Tweet with over 1.2 M likes. They want to silence Kendrick for giving 7 million. For helping people. This is bigger than hip-hop. This is about the system. TikTok creators are now calling it the $7 million censorship scandal. Creators are breaking down timelines, tracing donation receipts, analyzing government grant reports, and exposing every cover-up attempt. One creator with 3 million followers said, "This is what happens when real change threatens fake power." And yet, Kendrick stays silent. No statement, no tweet, no freestyle. Just movement. Real, silent movement. But a new twist just dropped. An independent journalist in Texas claims to have possession of security footage showing Kendrick at multiple shelters, some he visited alone, in disguise just to hand out envelopes of cash to struggling families. This journalist says they will release the footage Friday night unless they're legally blocked. Because guess what? The city allegedly tried to buy the footage. To bury it, we standing on the edge of a full-blown celebrity government media cover-up scandal. And Kendrick's silence is screaming louder than ever. And just when you think it couldn't go further, someone, and we don't know who, is threatening to release an anonymous letter sent to Kendrick from a government official. A letter that allegedly begged him to stop the donations, warning that he was disrupting controlled aid flow. Let that sink in. He was too helpful. The streets are on fire. The silence may have started with Kendrick, but the people, they are loud now. Because once the censorship, suppression, and dirty media manipulation were exposed, the internet erupted like never before. We're talking about millions of tweets, countless reaction videos, duets, live debates, all flooding social platforms with one clear message: you can silence headlines, but you can't silence truth. Let's break it down. Twitter X. Unhinged. Top trending topics for 48 hours straight. Hashtag KDOT for the people. Hash 7 million silence. Hash Kendrick flood truth. Hash we see you KDOT1. Post from a verified user gained 2.1 million likes. Kendrick Lamar gave $7 million in silence, while politicians gave excuses in surround sound. Never forget that. Another user posted, they banned his donations. They hid his story. Why? Because Kendrick makes them look useless. And then came the thread that broke the platform. The $7 million ghost mission. How Kendrick outplayed. The system this thread detailed, every organization that received his money how, each donation was structured how. Kendrick bypassed federal red tape screenshots of emails from shelters thanking an anonymous donor. People were in tears. People were in rage. People were ready. TikTok, a full-blown movement. Creators stitched emotional reactions to Mariah C's story. Dozens recreated the moment she met Kendrick on the shelter floor. A trend emerged, sit like Kendrick, where people would sit on the floor next to empty cots with captions like, because sometimes you don't need to be seen, just felt. And then came the viral audio. You surviving is strength. You're still here. KL overlaid with soft piano, millions of uses. Millions of tears. One creator said, he didn't write a song. He didn't drop a verse. He dropped into the flood and saved lives. YouTube, exploding. Documentaries, breakdowns. Conspiracy deep dives. Some titles, why the media is scared of Kendrick Lamar's $7 million donation. The silent hero, Kendrick's flood mission explained the censorship of kindness. Who tried to stop K. Creators from all sides, hip-hop, politics, activism joined forces in a rare moment of unity to say, enough is enough. Kendrick is what the culture needs. Protect that man. Now the fans. They're stepping up. 2.1 user started a GoFundMe titled, Inspired by Kendrick, let's finish what he started. In 24 hours, over $2.8 million raised, the funds being distributed to the exact same shelters Kendrick supported. People are organizing clothing drives, volunteer squads, and community cleanups, all in Kendrick's name. But the real magic? They're not tagging him. They're not cloud chasing. They're doing it the Kendrick way, quiet, pure, from the soul. Meanwhile, the backlash, it's building. Bet has been called out for removing a Kendrick tribute from their homepage. 1. Influencer was dropped from a brand deal after mocking the donation as performative poverty tourism. A radio DJ went viral for the wrong reason. After claiming, y'all acting like Kendrick's Jesus? It's just money. Fans lit up his mentions with, it's not just money, it's money with no ego. You mad because he did what your faves only tweet about? He did more for Texas than half of Congress. Even other artists started taking sides. Cardi B tweeted, say what you want, that man is heart. Y'all could never. Tyler, the creator, wrote, $7 million in silence is louder than 100 albums. J. Cole, again, said, that boy different. Y'all ain't ready for the real convo, but of course, not everyone was supportive. A major streaming service quietly removed Kendrick from their Spotlight playlist, citing rotation updates. A political commentator mocked the donation as a PR stunt. But Johnny, the people weren't having it. They know the truth. They saw the receipts. They felt the REALNES, and now people are demanding action. Fans are sending letters to networks tagging. Media outlets nonstop boycotting shows that censored the story, demanding Kendrick be given the Humanitarian of the Year award at every major show one. TikTok comment sums it up best. Kendrick reminded us what a man with soul and power can do. That scares people, but it woke us up. But wait. Just as the fans were rallying and the streets were rising, something dropped. an anonymous leak. A final twist because someone possibly from inside a government office just released an image of a redacted letter sent to Indra. Kendrick weeks ago, the letter said, "We appreciate your support, but urge discretion. Future donations may disrupt coordinated aid efforts and cause confusion among recipients." Translation: don't help too much. You're making us look bad. And at the bottom of the letter, blurred signature, allegedly from a state official. This is bigger than charity, bigger than hip-hop. This is a war between truth and power, and Kendrick's quiet act has exposed it all. Just when we thought this story couldn't get more emotional, more shocking, more soul-breaking, something surfaced from Texas that left fans speechless, sobbing, and completely shattered because Kendrick Lamar didn't just donate millions. He didn't just walk through shelters or write heartfelt notes. He left behind something much deeper. A time capsule, yes, you heard right, hidden behind the back wall of a flooded recreation center in Port Arthur. A volunteer stumbled upon a small black box, sealed tightly and marked only with 3 hand-scratched letters, K.L.P. At first, people thought it was just debris, but once opened, the contents left everyone in tears. Inside were 3 items: a crumpled family photo of Kendrick as a teen, sitting beside his cousin Darnell, smiling in front of a Texas gas station, a cassette tape labeled "For Those Still Breathing," a folded letter, handwritten, raw, emotional. The letter read, "If you find this, then maybe I've done something right. I came back here to feel what I lost, to sit in the flood like Darnell did. To remind myself what silence sounds like when no one's listening. Y'all ain't invisible. Y'all ain't alone. The world might forget you, but I won't. This place is part of me. Always has been. If this helps one soul breathe deeper, then it was worth every drop. Tell Darnell. I kept my promise." Kendrick. The letter was authenticated by a Kendrick archivist. The handwriting matched. The tape was quickly digitized, and what was on it silenced every room that heard it. It wasn't a song, wasn't a freestyle. It was Kendrick Lamar crying softly into the mic, whispering stories of people he met during his Texas visits, mothers who lost kids, boys who held their dogs. Above floodwaters, elders who clutched photos instead of food in the background. The faint hum of shelter noise. A baby crying, rain against the roof, and Kendrick saying, "I see you. I hear you. I am you." That tape is now being called the Flood Tape. Fans are begging for its full release. Streaming platforms are already fighting over rights. But Kendrick's team has made it clear, it was never meant for charts. It was meant for healing. And that's the truth. This wasn't about publicity. It wasn't about clout. It wasn't about Grammy campaigns or viral tweets. It was about pain, love, and legacy. But now the world is watching. Because after the capsule leak, Kendrick's team posted a single chilling update to his website, a black screen with white text. This chapter's closed, but the storm ain't over. Fans believe this is Kendrick hinting at something even bigger. A documentary, a protest, an album. No one knows for sure, but the question everyone's asking is, what storm is coming? And what truth is Kendrick getting ready to drop next? Because if this was the silent story, imagine what happens when he finally speaks. Now it's your turn. Johnny, you've heard the story. You've seen the silence. You've felt the pain. Kendrick Lamar didn't post it. He didn't rap about it. Lived it. Quietly. Purposefully. Completely from the heart. But the question now is, what will you do with this truth? Do you believe celebrities should speak out about their charity work or keep it silent like Kendrick did? Why do you think the media tried to bury this story? And most importantly, Do you think Kendrick's next move will shake the world again? We want to hear from you in the comments. No holding back. Let's talk raw, real, and loud, because Kendrick's message isn't just a donation, it's a wake-up call. Drop a comment, smash that like button if you were moved. Share this video with everyone who needs to see what real heart looks like. And subscribe, because this storm isn't over, and you already know we're going to bring you the next chapter as soon as it hits. And trust us, the next update is gonna blow the lid off everything. We've heard whispers, we've seen leaks, and if what we're hearing is true, Kendrick's story is about to go worldwide in a way no one is ready for. Stay tuned, stay loud, and stay woke. This was the silent $7 million gift, but it may just be the start of a $70 million revolution. See you in the next video.